Alright, ready?
Kayfabe Gimmicks! You know where to find us on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Fiction Entertainment, brother. YouTube. Fiction Entertainment, brother. YouTube.
Fucking #1 Kayfabe Gimmicks podcast ever. So.
How are you looking for?
Put words in the wrong place.
Are you recording all this, dude? The best wrestling podcast that's always been.
What you gonna do, brother, when the beast starts talking about wrestling and drinking whiskey and it's all crazy up in here?
Welcome to Kayfabe Gimmicks. This is sNooVa, and tonight I'm going to teach you how to build a birdhouse.
No, it's not that kind of podcast.
This is a DIY podcast.
Well, maybe it's how to build a better promotion kind of DIY.
Oh my god, who's talking? Who are you?
My name is Ruff Lee, and I am the advocate for women's wrestling, among other things, in Kayfabe Gimmicks.
I don't want to know where the other things are going, but knowing you, I feel like it might be going somewhere gay. Look, what you got going on, Ruff? You got any shows coming up?
Well, just last night was a tribute to Queensryche in Atlanta, and it was an all-star lineup. And Queensryche is not just a progressive band, they're one of the biggest progressive bands, and the only way to do them justice is if you employ a full-on choir. So we had a choir for the entire show, and I was lucky enough to be able to play in the centerpiece of their most famous work. I got to play on Sweet Sister Mary. You can go to Facebook and find me under Ruff Lee, Rufflee. You can just go to the URL itself. It's /Ruff's Friends, because I'm happy to make friends from here all the way to Spain. But you can see the footage, see the video, and see what greatness transpired last night.
All right. Well, I brought you a guest tonight. I brought you a gift. The man himself is returned, Stephen Prather. He's going to introduce himself here real quick, and he's going to kick you in the ass, and we're going to get your retrospect and your opinion on something, okay?
Well, mine's the only opinion that matters.
Oh, no, I meant Ruff's opinion on what you have to say about this. It's an interesting topic, man. You know it's going to shake him
I'm
to
sure
his
it
core.
will, but I do have to take a serious note for 1 second, if I might.
Go right ahead, sir.
My condolences, and I feel so terribly sad for Dana Brooke losing her boyfriend, Dallas McCarver. And, Dana's got a huge history of bodybuilding beyond pro wrestling. She's competed multiple times in the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. And to my knowledge, it's that circuit where she met her boyfriend, and he was a superstar of wrestling. He was 6'1" and 300 pounds, and maybe 2.5% body fat, and choked to death while eating, it seemed, because the last message, interaction he had with anyone was telling Dana that he was going to get himself something to eat, and next thing that you know, he is dead from choking on food. Such a terrible, terrible loss, and my heart goes out to her.
I understand. Moving on from a serious note to a more serious note, especially for Ruff Lee, Stephen, talk to us about the state of the women's title division.
Well, number one, Vince finally recognized talent, and Natty is your SmackDown Women's Champ.
Thank God.
That is the best turnout of anything I've seen.
It was the
lately.
best thing that could have happened. I was surprised to see it happen, because this is her first championship, and she's been with them for 10 years. 10 years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, she's been with them. She's been with them, and she has seen 3 different eras of women's wrestling.
And this is only her second title run, isn't it?
It's her
No,
first.
it's her first title run. Natty has
she's never had a title run, but she was there during the whole Beth Phoenix era, back when what's her face? The model. I know that narrows it down.
Yeah, I'm thinking Eva Marie right off the bat.
No, I'm talking like 3 eras ago.
But, Trish Stratus?
No, it was the Trish era, but she was in there. But it's like back during
Victoria?
We're pretty much in that era. Natty's been around since that era, and then she saw.
Are you talking about Maria? Maria was actually there
too.
still.
I'm thinking about the blonde. I'm not talking Kelly because that's the next era. No, it's
Ashley?
before that. Anyway, point is, I can't believe I'm blanking on her.
No. Kelly is not the next era,
well,
actually.
Who I'm thinking I was there on Here Comes the Pain. It goes back that far.
Tori Wilson?
Tori Wilson, yes.
Was she around, Tori Wilson? I don't...
Yes, Tori Wilson was around. Like that's how far back Natty goes, and people don't even realize that. Like, Natty's been around since Tori Wilson and has never held a belt. So good
That's
for her.
ridiculous. And she should keep that sucker for 6,000 days.
Yeah, I was thinking like she needs a 200-day run because, she's technical enough. She's someone who could have been a trainer from year one.
I just don't know how much... I don't know how much I care about that story, to be honest with you.
It's just a good feel story, finally, to have it happen. I thought they were going to keep it on Naomi for a long time, and I was just like, no, this got it. But the biggest point is, if we go from SmackDown Women's Championship to Raw.
Wait.
Yes?
Before we go there, I do want to say something. Can't wait for the day Carmella cashes in. If we're going to talk about women's wrestling, can we talk about Carmella for a split second before we go to Raw? Because frankly,
Sure.
leaps and bounds.
She's gotten better. She's gotten way better in coming into her own from her NXT days.
Way
She
better.
has grown so amazing. I look so forward to whenever she shows up on the kickoff shows and she's just playing on her phone. Like, I don't even give a fuck what you're talking about. They ask her a question. She's like, wait, I wasn't listening. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she's doing perfect. I mean, she's doing better than Cass or Enzo.
Yeah, no, I
Right now.
completely agree with you. I completely agree with you right there. That
Right.
is a statement I can stand by.
I mean, Enzo's on 205 now.
All right. I just wanted to throw that out there. Talking about positives
Yeah.
in the women's division, while yes, it's great that Natalya finally has her title run, Carmella has been a huge positive this year for me, and I never thought I would say that.
Oh, no. I think she has big things, but will she cash in while Natty has the belt, or is it going to be... my only fear is that they're going to do, and this brings us back to Raw, is they're going to flip the belt back quickly to Naomi. Because if you look at Raw's belt, Charlotte won it back like April 3rd of 2016.
Well, she
Now-
got it switched over at that point. She had the Divas belt already, I think. She was
Yes.
the Divas
No,
champion when that
Diva-
went down.
She brought the Divas champion into it, and then there was a triple threat between Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks and Charlotte
And she
to
was the
determine the
current
number.
champion at that point, right?
going into it with the Divas title.
Yeah.
Now, if we fast forward to April 30th, 2017, Alexa Bliss won the Raw Women's title, making her the first lady of wrestling
Yes.
to hold both the Raw and the SmackDown because she is simply blissful and just great.
Deserved it.
But in a year's time, the Raw belt has had 9 championship changes
Yeah.
in a year. That's almost a change every single month. And every time when you look at it, so let's look here. Charlotte held the belt the first time she got it 113 days. Then Sasha won it and held it for 27.
Yeah.
Then it went back to Charlotte for 43. Then it went back to Sasha Banks for 27. Then it went to Charlotte Flair for 29. Then to Sasha Banks for 20.
See, this was a beautiful thing that Bliss said on Monday. Did you catch that?
I actually missed Raw.
Bliss immediately brought up the fact that Sasha has never successfully defended the belt.
Yeah.
She definitely hasn't. Look, here's the thing about Charlotte, right? When we go into the whole Raw Women's Championship title idea and concept, you have to be realistic about it. Charlotte's 113 days. You really have to add that 196 that she had that Divas Championship to that reign, I feel.
Yeah.
No, you should. But since they're considering it a new title, they kind of distance themselves from the whole diva thing. It's understandable why they don't. But at the same time, here's the fact is, now we're up to 10. We are up to, in a little over a year, had 10 title changes. And Sasha Banks is not a bad wrestler. I give her shit because of someone we know who's obsessed with her. She's a decent wrestler, but the fact is she's injury prone. Secondly, yes, the crowd's behind her, but I don't think she can drive the women's champion like they think. Unfortunately, Bayley got hurt. If Bayley hadn't got hurt, I don't even think, Sasha versus Alexa would have happened.
But this is a personal observation, and it's got nothing to do with storyline. But ever since her last injury, the Sasha that we knew back in NXT is gone because the hunger's gone. When she walks to the ring, when she's cutting a promo, it doesn't seem like the edge is there anymore. She's like on the verge of reluctance, and so she can't even convince me of the character that she was.
That she's the boss, and I think that's part of it. And then by direct contrast, if you take a look at Alexa Bliss, Alexa has just leaps and bounds gone beyond what she was. Now, she wasn't bad at NXT, and she really grew towards the end of her NXT time, but when she came to the main event, she brought it, and she still brings it. Every single time, she is the perfect heel. I don't even care if the rest of her career she spins as a heel, because she's so damn good at it.
That's for sure. The meme that I made a couple months ago actually summed it up best, because there she was in the middle of a spot when the crowd was trying to egg her on by saying what? And she says, if you're a failure, say what? And the crowd said, what? And she said, my point exactly. So she has owned it in every situation. Like, she cannot be thrown, whether it's in the ring or on the mic or backstage or doing commentary. She can't be thrown. She's completely in charge.
I mean, my basic problem with taking the belt off Alexa to give it to Sasha is this. Is if you look at the male titles, how often do they change, really?
Not often enough, if you ask my opinion.
No, not often enough. How long has Brock Lesnar had the Universal title now?
Oh, God, about 6 months almost. We're going high on 6 months now.
Yeah. But if you look at the women's, it's like almost about every month, be it pay-per-view or Raw, we're going to change this title. It's like they can't...
Oh, I lied. I'm sorry. We're about to hit 5 months.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Put the belt on someone. Give them a decent run. I'm not saying give them an Asuka run from NXT or anything.
No, of course.
But or even a New Day run. But, if we look at it, Alexa Bliss held the belt for 112 days. Nobody has beat Charlotte's 113.
Look,
not a single person.
So,
and where is Charlotte?
Floating around on SummerSlam, SmackDown. This is a big thing we're going to be talking about a lot tonight. Tonight is the 23rd. It's the actual NXT is running right now. We don't even give a shit. And we are going to be talking about missed opportunities. And one of those missed opportunities we know for a fact is obviously this whole Brock Lesnar title run, because it's been garbage. And it started the exact same day of WrestleMania. So that was June 4th, I think, or April 4th. And No Mercy is going to be on September 24th, which means Brock Lesnar's title run will have ran for over 5 months at that point.
And he's taken Braun Strowman. Come on.
And he will have had a total of 2 matches in 5 months. 2 matches. I just want you to put that onto size and consider that and think about that
Well,
again.
because he's such a big draw, then of course we've got to make the big deal about contendership, and I think that's the difference that they've done between that kind of thing and the women's division. They want to base the men's division off of who's the bigger threat, where they want to show the women's division as being competitive with a lot of great women superstars, unless of course you're in NXT.
Well, see, here's my problem with that: is they built Brock to the point no one's a threat. No one believes right now. Can you name one person on the roster that, let's say, we think wrestling's real? It's not predetermined. But is there anyone you seriously think's a threat to him that legitimately could come in and take that belt from Brock Lesnar? There is not a single person on the active roster right now. Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, any of the big people. The only person who might be able, John Cena. And I don't want to see another John Cena run.
Well, okay, so let's take it back 3 years right now. We're going to go to SummerSlam 2014. Suplex City begins.
Yeah.
It does not officially begin, but this is the mark of something we were talking about last week when we did our SummerSlam recap of 03. Brock Lesnar just says, fuck wrestling, and starts the Suplex City gimmick. It doesn't officially start until WrestleMania of that year. He wins the belt, though. Okay?
Okay.
Cena he defends one time, Night of Champions. He does not have another match until the Royal Rumble. And he wins the Royal Rumble, and then he doesn't have another match again until WrestleMania.
I mean,
And here we are. That was about 8 months. It was about 8 months, and we're doing it again this year. We're doing it all over again.
They're putting all their eggs on the idea that Brock is unbeatable, and by doing so, all you're doing is you're going to have to protect your champion to the point where he is booked lighter than even a television only person.
and who's he going to face when he finally loses his belt? My odds on money are 2 people. Joe, or God forbid, Roman
My money's
Reigns.
on Reigns. Money is still on Reigns, because Reigns gets to say that he retired The Undertaker. So when you think of,
He does.
when you say that Brock broke the streak, he doesn't get to say that he retired Taker. And that's what Heyman has been saying about him since WrestleMania. So he's
It's a huge problem we've been discussing on Kayfabe for every year that we've been running. And some people who previously have been with us and have done stupid other things don't seem to understand that in this fake product, anybody can be billed as a champion, but not anybody can be billed like Brock Lesnar has been built
No.
to be undefeasible.
Yeah. I mean, do you all remember Brock Lesnar when he first started?
oh yes.
Think back.
Oh yeah, we were
When,
talking about it last week. I don't know if you listened to our episode, but man, Lesnar really used to sell and really used to wrestle.
Well, it's not even that. Imagine, so, would you think that Bubba Ray Dudley could take Brock Lesnar right now? Would you believe that
No.
build-up?
no.
No. But remember back before Brock won the title, and Heyman had started making his perverse forwards towards Trish, and Brock was going to beat her up, Bubba Ray ran out to the ring, and at that point back then, you thought it could happen. They've built him up so much that I don't think the payoff's going to be
There
what
is
they
one
want.
other person that can take out Brock, and it's the person that we saw take him out when we watched 2003. If they give Kurt Angle clearance and they give him a serious run,
Ooh.
then Angle is still the guy to take out Brock Lesnar.
Angle's a believable choice. Joe would have been a believable choice up to now. I don't know. With how Joe has been built, it's definitely another missed opportunity. is
Yeah.
a huge missed opportunity by now. Braun Strowman,
That's
I like Strowman. I do. I love Strowman's part in SummerSlam. It was
Yeah.
great. It was,
but he
solid
can't hold a
match.
championship.
You know my
He
problem
can't.
with
Unless they-
with Braun Strowman. I said it about 2 moves, but here we go. How long have people bitched about John Cena's 5 moves of doom? How long have we heard people complain about that?
Years. There was
and
about
years.
a decade of bitching until the springboard stunner happened, and he started doing the Hurricane Ranas.
Right.
And that stupid, I love it to
Flippin'-
death. Yeah, exactly.
Flipping,
Right,
whatever
but they,
that crap-
but
I can't
we,
think of the name of
we
it right
yelled
now, but yes, I love that
we
too.
bitched as a community for years about John Cena and him only having 5 moves. Well, we believed Goldberg because he had 2 big moves. And now here we are with someone who can't cut promo without being on a teleprompter, who's got 1. I'm waiting to see.
Well,
I'm waiting to
he
see.
need-
I
He
mean,
needs a manager.
He's got 1 move. At least Lesnar's got 3.
We have 2 ways we're gonna move this onwards, right? 2 ways. Speaking of Goldberg, I actually think that Steven here wanted to talk about Goldberg's missed opportunity in WCW.
Hell yes.
Go for it.
The reign. So the reign, number one, I understand, and that was probably, I think we can all agree that was probably the last relevant undefeated streak. Quite honestly, that and Undertaker. But the way it ended was the biggest letdown. That was the biggest missed opportunity. Honestly, I understand Kevin Nash was the second biggest star at the time, but the way it led from Scott Hall tasing him to Kevin Hall pinning him to the next night Hogan win the title was the biggest just missed opportunity. They could have done something so much more with
Well,
that.
I mean, how would you have booked it? That's a huge part here.
Honestly, how would I have booked it? I would have made Goldberg lose to someone nobody else would have. The first man to learn the defense against the spear. Raven.
Yeah.
I like
Raven
this.
is the first person that countered the spear. He stepped out of the way.
Yeah.
You know,
I would have had
Raven.
Raven.
When you say that, I hate the spear almost as much as I hate the RKO because both really have a stupid easy counter.
I mean, literally, Raven was the first person just said, "I can step out of the way." And honestly, with Raven, I think it would have been a lot of people are like Steven Raven's not on Goldberg's level. Number one, Raven is amazing. He's a little crazy now, but back in the day, his psychology, ring psychology, is amazing. And I think they could have had a great program. The other way is I would have let Chris Jericho beat Goldberg. After all the shit that went on between Goldberg and Chris Jericho, Chris Jericho calling out Goldberg and all that stuff, having Chris Jericho cheat to steal the title would have been better than what
I
they
agree
did.
on that one too.
Okay. I can see that. Now, I'm going to paint you guys another picture moving onwards, right? In missed opportunities and opportunities that are going to be missed in the coming months and coming years of the WWE. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you sign, baby. It doesn't.
No.
At the end of the day, the WWE is going to push who they want to push and how they want to push them, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. NXT is the devil. 205 Live is the devil. We're not here to talk about those things today. We're here to talk about...
Whatever is after the Mae Young Classic is the devil.
Exactly.
I swear to God, the only reason to do the Classic is so they can launch yet another franchise.
But
And then what do you do with the girls on NXT? Is it going to become an all-male show?
Braun Strowman should have won the title. Braun Strowman should have won the title. And why I say that, and why I'm going to say that, is because of this. I don't want long title streaks in my main event right now. I don't. I don't feel like it's a need. I don't feel like it's a necessity. I feel like we have built Brock Lesnar into an unstoppable beast a long time ago which is a problem. However, you gotta figure it like this. With where the WWE is currently at, there are some of the biggest, most high-profile people that you can ever imagine or have ever imagined coming out to the WWE ring right now. Huge names.
Yep.
Huge names. You have a bunch of former world champions on other promotions, former champions in the promotion, that could be major title carriers. And by having a bunch of maybe month, 2-month reigns, you're able to showcase them off and say, hey, we have amazing wrestlers. And last night's the perfect example. Because when goddamn Bobby Roode debuts against Aiden English, what the fuck are we doing with our lives?
We're marking the fuck out is what we're doing.
But Aiden English.
They have to do something with him since his partner left.
And this goes into the same thing the Shinsuke Nakamura comment of what the fuck? You have real champions. High profile
Nakamura should have won that belt. I'm sorry. I don't care what you all think. Jinder Mahal is horrible. It's ridiculous.
I don't think he's horrible. I think his title reign is the perfect example of it's not a bad thing. It's not. I see Jinder having maybe one more title defense or whatever and moving on from there as the best option right now. Maybe come back to Jinder.
Nobody who's ever, well, other than Randy Orton, nobody who's been a good wrestler has ever been in a Punjabi prison match.
I won't tell you that Randy Orton's a good wrestler, so you can take that and shove it right up your ass.
He once was a good wrestler.
He once was.
What I'm talking about, though, and what I'm simply saying, is if you have guys like Nakamura, you've got guys like Bobby Roode, you've got guys like Ambrose, you've got guys like Rollins, Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Joe, fuck, all of these people, John Cena, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt. You have a list of people who are world championship material or have held world champions.
Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph, I'm sorry. I love Dolph. And Ruff, you know I love Dolph. And I would push Dolph to the moon. But his injuries from the past have hurt him. They're not going to take the risk on him.
Look.
And it sucks.
Let's continue this. I'm going to go with Roman Reigns. I'm going to go ahead and throw out Jeff Hardy. Going to go ahead and throw out Matt Hardy. Going to go ahead and throw out Sheamus. Owens. AJ Styles. Sami Zayn. Jericho technically still wrestles for the WWE. Kane. You have a group of people who are former world champions, current world champions, have been world champions. And that's not even getting into the people who are into NXT right now. Go for it. I know you want it, Steven. Go for it.
Oh, I'm going to go for it. The biggest missed opportunity from SummerSlam involves somebody from NXT. The way what should have happened at the Jinder Mahal Nakamura match is Nakamura should have won that match. Straight out won it, stood in the ring, the lights go out, and when they come back on, he turns around and gets super kicked by none other than Adam Cole, baby. Adam Cole is one of the biggest missed opportunities. He doesn't need to be at NXT, just like Joe didn't need to be at NXT.
Right.
I mean, that would be like bringing in Kenny Omega and saying, hey, Kenny Omega, we're going to put you in NXT, and you're going to fight Drew. I mean, really? That's the new champion? That's who Bobby Roode lost to? Are we serious?
Look, I'm not disagreeing with you. At the same time, we've got the Velveteen Dream and goddamn Leo. Fucking Rush just got signed.
I mean,
and why are these people in NXT?
But here's the deal. They're signing them to get them off the indies. And here's the problem is there are wrestlers they do it for the money. But there are wrestlers that I don't want to see in WWE because they would destroy. Can you imagine how someone like Prince Puma, a.k.a. Ricochet, would be restricted in WWE?
I understand. Kind of carrying on, sidebar real quick from that last thing we've been discussing. King of Trios is about to start for Chikara. And Aiden English's former partner, Simon Gotch, now wrestling as Simon Grimm, is going to be is going to be in the King of Trios on Chikara this week. King of Trios. Oh God.
And see, that was a big waste.
But Simon
Talent...
Gotch is going in with Mr. Touchdown and Dasher Hatfield himself. And I think it's going to be awesome as House Throwback gets joined by Simon Gotch, and he's got the mustache.
That was another missed opportunity. The Vaudevillains were great. And I feel like WWE, actually, I'm going to say it, the entire tag team division is a missed opportunity right now. Other than, I do agree with Rollins and Ambrose having the tag titles.
Now, you see, now we've got another missed opportunity. Because when you talk about SummerSlam, it shouldn't have been Shield Light. Somehow, we should have seen the Shield be all the way reformed.
I agree. It makes the most sense.
They had 2 opportunities to do it, and we all were smelling it, and there was no payoff.
But that would have meant that Reigns probably would have had to win, and I don't know that I could suffer through that again.
No, I mean, I brought it to the group. We have a new champion for Kayfabe Gimmicks, by the way, Brandon Corleone. Johnson motherfucking won. Naked Shawn Michaels is gone.
And it's now a bunch of
ass? It's wedgies,
is that what it is?
Actually, was the term of the photo.
Because we're a classy bunch of motherfuckers like that.
Yeah. But they should have brought the Shield back. But I feel like when you bring the Shield back, you have to have somebody for them to
that goes back to your Adam Cole, baby.
Yes, it does. Number one, if we look at it, who's wasting? I'm going to go to NXT, and I'm going to say NXT is the land of missed opportunity because people rot down there to the point. And I know people like NXT, and I do. Number one, I thought TakeOver was great. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like a lot of that talent should be on the main event. So number one, I'm a big ROH fan. Bobby Fish shouldn't be in NXT. Johnny Gargano should not be in NXT. Kyle O'Reilly, I'm not a great fan of. He has a very plain look. I know he can go. I know he can wrestle. Those three, take Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Johnny Gargano, or I'll tell you what, give me Aleister Black and Adam Cole and one other person and put them up in the main event, just jacking up the Shield week in, week out, leading to some program.
You want to know the biggest missed opportunity of SummerSlam this year? Adam Cole debuting on NXT in the main roster one day apart and actually taking over and challenging both shows at the same damn time.
Why hasn't that happened? I mean, the closest we came was what, Kevin Owens?
Owens was a different thing. We're talking about a hostile takeover of both promotions at the same damn time. No, Adam Cole, baby.
Oh, it would be great. And they brought in AJ, and then they brought in Gallows and Anderson, and the whole tease was the club.
Nothing.
And what they do with the club.
And this is why a Shield reunion would have worked perfectly if Adam Cole had come onto the main roster.
Not only that, but if you really want to sell it and take it that far, okay, so let's look. You've got Adam Cole. You've got Gallows and Anderson. You've got Finn Balor. And you have AJ motherfucking Styles, who have all been part of New Japan's Bullet Club. Why couldn't those 5 team up? It doesn't have to be 3-on-3. Could you imagine the program you could sell with those 5 guys taking on the Shield and random personnel?
I understand.
You want to talk about my missed opportunity, unless you've got a rebuttal.
No, I want to hear this. What you got?
My missed opportunity is during all of the build-up between Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor. They were busy turning the lights
my
out on
God.
each other. They just kept on turning the lights off on each other and surprising each other by not knowing where the other one was going to turn up. So if we've got the Demon King versus the Lord of the Buzzards,
The Eater of Worlds.
the Eater of Worlds, and both of them are the kings of the Black Up, why the fuck didn't Undertaker show up in the middle of their match?
Whoa, wait.
Because nobody wanted to
I
be
do
in
have
that horrible
something for
match.
this, actually. I have great news. Great news. You heard it first here on Kayfabe Gimmicks. Technically, Jerry Lawler already spoiled this on his podcast, Dinner with the King. We shout out just like he did at SummerSlam. But apparently, there's a reason why Taker was at SummerSlam and Raw. And apparently, there's another company making another WWE video game, and they were doing face and body scans.
Another company.
Not 2K. Don't know who's in charge of it, don't know what they're licensing out, but I am kind of excited. I don't know if we're going to get some crazy mixed match game like WWE All-Stars, but I would shit my pants for another copy of All-Stars.
You know, that's fun, and we love that because our 8-bit brains eat that stuff up all day long. But you know who I'm gonna, if that's the hint, do you know who I'm going to bank on?
Who?
NetherRealm.
Never. I mean,
Because they did Immortals.
This is
They're responsible
Kayfabe
for
Gimmicks, and we're a
Immortals.
video game podcast,
Yep.
and let me tell you something right now. I'm sick to death of NetherRealm Studios putting guest characters in video games.
That's okay if they can steal the whole damn roster.
And the day that Scorpion shows up in a WWE game is the day I kill myself.
He shows up every year. Somebody creates him.
I know, but it would be fucking official, dude.
It's
It
Well,
would
hey,
be
they've
fucking
had the
official. They'd really fucking do it.
before there was another realm. We already saw it because we had Glacier in WCW.
Look, man. Dude,
Oh my God, Glacier.
if Glacier can get announced for 2K18 right now, tomorrow, please, thank you, God, I love you, I would be happy about this. Why the fuck do I have to have the Bushwhackers in that game, but I can't get goddamn Glacier?
Glacier was really a serious technician,
So,
and I was a big WCW fan because of technical wrestling. So too bad that it's too bad it's getting ruined
Cruiserweights.
by 205. But
So, let's hope it's not
Oh my
NetherRealm.
God, 205.
I don't know if I could see, I don't want another Realm game either. I don't know. No.
if NetherRealm
It's-
makes the next All
I
Stars,
don't know.
it could be a hell of a lot of fun.
It's-
Only if it's actually going to be a 3D fighter like All-Stars was. Look, All-Stars' whole thing that made it so awesome was it was a wrestling game that just happened to have giant 360-degree flips that should never be happening.
That's exactly it.
Moving on, though. Moving on.
but
We are currently at the 38-minute mark. We got a few more things to go through tonight, I think. A few more things to talk about. What about some TNA missteps, guys?
Oh, God.
Oh, the misstep was keeping it open.
You know,
They should have closed it
The
and
fact
sold
that
it to
Vince-
Vince.
I
That was
have
the biggest
previously
misstep.
talked about this.
The fact
go
that
for it.
Vince does not have the library is a seriously missed opportunity, considering how much of TNA's talent is over on the roster now.
Seriously, missed opportunities don't have to be just in wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
They could be business decisions too here. I will say this, oh god, where was I going with it? Oh yeah. My big thing lately was this whole Del Rio scandal. And to Del Rio's purposes and proofs, he has been a real man about this situation and said, hey, you know, look, they're suspending me, whatever, we're doing this. And there go burn in hell, since they totally fucked the whole thing up, didn't throw away their TV tapings, went ahead and pushed him for a month and a half, even though that they had suspended him. And now Eli Drake is their champion, and he has to start back over.
Right.
But the best part about this is apparently, do you guys remember who just debuted as part of the newest member of LAX, right?
No.
It was fucking Loki.
No.
He literally debuted 2 weeks ago on
Oh.
GFW, TNA, Impact Wrestling, whatever the fuck you want to call it, because they don't even know. And he has already asked for his release from the company and is gone.
Wow. That's faster than anyone in Trump's cabinet.
I mean, it's Loki. Loki's always been a hardcore individual, and if he doesn't like it, he will leave.
Oh yeah, do you want to give us
he
your
makes
opinions
no-
on Loki? I mean, you watched
I mean,
plenty
I-
of Ring of Honor and New Japan. I mean, are you a Loki fan?
I watched. Okay, so I watched
Uh-huh.
TNA back when it was a weekly pay per view, and you had Loki, what was his name? Elix Skipper,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Christopher Daniels as Triple X. Okay, number one, Loki is a phenomenal wrestler. You're talking about an original Ring of Honor wrestler who came up with, Bryan Daniels, all
Yeah.
the old greats that showed up back in the day, Christopher Daniels, those kinds of people. Loki's a great wrestler, but he's very intense. In fact, most of the stuff I hear about him is that, how some people say they chop really hard, that Loki's one of those people
Well, I
that you
mean-
don't want to get chopped by.
We were talking about this a couple weeks ago on I think it was our Lame Ass podcast. Go check it out. But Jim Cornette actually had an issue where he watched a Loki match, and I went and watched the exact same Loki match. And Loki can go burn in hell because I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe back in his youth he was great, but after WWE and everything else, like literally, okay, so this
Yeah.
match is within the last 5 years. He starts off, he goes straight into a roll.
Yeah.
As he comes out of the roll, he hits him with a spinning heel kick to the head of his opponent. That's the start of the match. The dude's knocked the
Yeah.
fuck out.
Yeah.
Literally, you watch the manager slapping this guy in the face trying to get him back the fuck up. He finally gets him up slightly. Loki does one more move and match was over.
Yeah, because Loki don't play. Loki doesn't think wrestling's fake. He takes that shit real. And I haven't seen Loki in a while. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen him wrestle. But, Jim Cornette.
What? You're not a Cornette fan?
Sometimes I like Jim Cornette sometimes, but then other times I think he's the biggest dick in the world.
I like listening to Jim Cornette more than I like anything else about Jim Cornette, I think.
I mean, I think of Jim, like Ruff, your post about
Yeah.
Roman Reigns' response to the fans hating him. That's sometimes how I feel about Jim Cornette. I'm just like, I hate Jim Cornette. It's Jim Cornette. There's times I love him. There's times I hate him. Sometimes I disagree with him. So Jim Cornette is not a Kenny Omega fan
He's not. I know.
at all,
I know.
and he doesn't like people who use their penis during wrestling matches.
We talked about that too.
Yeah.
He definitely doesn't like Joey Ryan.
But
he has such an insightful mind into wrestling at the same time.
yeah, but I think he's trapped in his own mind. Like, I think he believes all the hype that he thinks of himself.
And that might be a
And that-
problem, but at the end of the day, his opinion on Kenny Omega aside, he's not entirely wrong with a lot of his thoughts.
No, and that's why I say, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I see that, and then there's other times where I'm just like, no. TNA's missed opportunities started when they started letting their originals go. When AJ left, that was the start of the downfall. When Dixie remained in charge for way longer than she should have, even with the financial struggles, that was another missed opportunity. TNA was
No.
great till they started saying we can compete with the WWE.
So they
couldn't.
signed all of
Uh,
the WCW and WWE guys they could.
Yep. And then face the same thing that WCW did. And I blame Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is like, you know what?
The dumbest thing they
The people
did.
that listen to this podcast, you can like Hulk Hogan, but Hulk Hogan is cancer to smaller companies.
The dumbest
And-
thing with the Hulk Hogan thing really lies in the fact that, like, with Hogan and Bischoff came Russo, low-key undercover working for TNA.
Hey, let me tell you something about Vince Russo. He gave us the greatest world champ of WCW history.
Who?
Ruff, you know who I'm talking about.
Man.
David Arquette!
David Arquette.
What? That went over your head?
The greatest.
I really thought you were going to catch
know,
that
like-
one.
I've got a love and a hate thing that's beyond anything when it comes to David Arquette, and that's why we celebrate him once a year. On Kayfabe Gimmicks, we have a
Only
David
once a
Arquette day,
year.
because if you want to say anything can happen, the only thing,
David Arquette is
Yeah.
the dream.
Which does bring up some of our slight wraparounds again towards the end here. As always, find us on Facebook at Kayfabe Gimmicks. You can watch previous episodes of this podcast at tinyurl.com//K Gimmicks. We upload these to Podomatic.com. And obviously we have all of our footage on YouTube as well, which I have been overlaying with Fire Pro Wrestling World footage. And recently even introduced some WWE 2K17 footage in. And some Pony Island footage.
you know,
What
I've
the
got a
hell?
current missed opportunity that I've just got to bitch about for 10 seconds. 10 seconds is all I need for this.
Go right ahead.
I want to hear it.
You've got Miz in the ring with John Cena, and you're not letting Miz bring up the fact that he beat John Cena for the world title and defended it and kept it against a John Cena. You're not letting him even say it to the current audience.
No,
Oh, man.
no, you're not. You know why? John Cena is there for one
To
reason
sell
and one reason only.
t-shirts.
Well, yeah, that, but also they're gonna do
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
that. He's there for a couple reasons. Sid. He's also there to do the one thing they tried to do with The Rock.
Get WWE produced movies to get more money in the box office?
Yes, but also to push over Roman Reigns. He's there to give the rub to Roman.
Oh, yeah, that's why
That's
he
for
just went to
sure.
Raw, dude. Definitely.
That's for sure.
I mean,
Definitely.
they are. We're talking about it. Roman Reigns. Listen to me now. Leave me later. Roman Reigns is going to win the belt at WrestleMania.
Roman
this year.
Reigns is going
It's
to
gonna happen.
win the belt from Brock Lesnar.
At WrestleMania. It's going to be a
Probably
WrestleMania
Mania.
match.
Now I'm gonna go out, guys. To end this episode, I got two people to talk about in WWE's biggest missed opportunity of them
Hit
all.
me.
And this is the amazing part. They are both world championship material. Both of them are currently world champions, well, or have been world champions since they left. And we're talking about in the worst company of them all, TNA, and yet they're the greatest things in there. What was that? Dummy, yeah. We're talking about Eli fucking Drake and EC3.
EC3. For real.
Okay.
I'm serious. I'm dead serious, dude. Eli Drake never made it in the WWE. Ethan Carter III completely and absolutely washed out in the WWE, more specifically in NXT as Derek Bateman. And yet both of them went on and they've shown themselves out and have been great in TNA. And I feel like the WWE really fucked this up. Like, severely. I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
I'm not a big E3 fan, but it's because I don't know. There's something about him I just don't like. So
Now-
See, I felt the same way when he used to be Derek Bateman. But the longer I watch him on TNA, the more I kind of dig the man. He's great on the mic. He cuts some good
I'm with you there.
promos. He's pretty fucking impressive in that damn ring by now. Now, and again, maybe the missed opportunity is what led to success. But I just want to throw that out there. And Eli Drake's one of my favorite characters ever.
A missed opportunity that I believe I really hope in my heart of hearts that it will eventually come to fruition is that, and I said this on last week's podcast, when Paul Heyman brought Brock Lesnar to the company the first time, he said that Lesnar was the next big thing. So who is the next big thing? Because when Heyman finds him, I want to see him turn on Brock Lesnar.
He's out there. He's been in the WWE, the next big thing.
It's not Braun Strowman.
No.
But when Heyman finds the next big thing,
You know who the next big thing would be, Ruff?
Dude, are you talking about Tyrus?
No, if this will never happen, but if you want to see crowds go wild, if you want to
Alberto El Patron returns?
no, I'm talking about one man.
Bobby Lashley!
Bobby Lashley, exactly. No, CM Punk. If they could get CM Punk to return, that would be the next big thing right there. It would break all box office for pay-per-views. As far as wrestling.
I don't know if Punk is the answer to wrestling. To me, I feel like you have a lot of big things, and that was my whole point in the multiple championships runs. I mean, you've got so many big names and good stars
You do, but, you talk about big names. Okay, so let's talk about it. We have big names, but you know what they could do? They could bring The Rock back, give The Rock a belt, and people would go crazy for it. And nobody would outsell The Rock.
been there, done that.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, as being out of the business for a while, if Punk showed up just at a show in the front row, jumped the guardrail, and for whatever reason put the GTS on whoever, John Cena,
Hideo Itami.
the crowd would go wild. They still, how many times have you seen a wrestler leave the business and they chant his name like that? Really think about that. Punk is one of them, and we saw it again with Adam Cole on the extra footage from the NXT. He had that entire, and we're not talking about the regular NXT arena. That's not where TakeOver was.
You're right. It wasn't. No, I'll give you that. Cole was a surprisingly big thing.
If you're going to do it with CM Punk, then you better make it count. So you better wait until you're in Chicago.
Oh, no, absolutely. There's a perfect time and place. He'll never come back. I don't think he's going to wrestle or fight in MMA again, but that's the only person I could see that could come back that would ignite a crowd enough that if they're not going to push it as, like, if he came back, Roman would go the way of Baron Corbin's Money in the Bank chances, and Punk would be the one to beat Brock Lesnar. That's the only way.
Punk lost to Lesnar, didn't he?
Did he?
Actually, I think they fed Lesnar. They fed Lesnar Punk too, dude.
Yeah, they did.
Well, there goes that idea.
No, you can always come back for part 2. People are paying $100 to watch Mayweather and McGregor this weekend. Punk can come back and beat Lesnar.
I mean, here's the thing about that, right? At the end of the day, I mean, so how about this, guys? We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do a fight. John Jones versus Brock Lesnar.
No,
it's
you're
gonna
not.
be a boxing match in New York because that's the only place I think both of them can compete right now because neither one of them can pass a drug test.
I don't even think
fuck it, let's just do them both in the WWE as a shoot fight.
I don't think John Jones could do it even there.
In the WWE?
Well, in the WWE. Well, could he pass the wellness test?
He doesn't have to. He's a part-time wrestler. If you bill it as a shoot fight, WWE
And that's
can do
the
it.
other big problem with a Brock Lesnar.
I mean, but here's the problem: is Lesnar's. The rumors have already started of Lesnar going and fighting. John Jones, but now
that can't happen now.
he's suspended.
WWE should be talking to John Jones right now. Said it first here on Kayfabe Gimmicks. It's 10/18 on August 23rd, and that's what they should do if they wanted to make some money.
You mean like that?
You know, I've got one interesting thing that I do want to, since Patron's name has come up like 5 times this hour. Paige's Twitter handle still has WWE in it. Has anyone?
Yeah, she's still under
Paige
contract.
still works for the WWE.
She's still under contract.
I mean,
We talked about this like last week or the week before, dude.
Yeah, I mean, she still talks to Xavier Woods, I'm sure.
Oh,
man.
that was terrible.
Hey,
that was terrible.
hey, you know she helped New Day get some of their catchphrases like "keep it tight." I'm gonna stop.
You gonna stop?
Man, you're hitting things like McGregor in an NBA jersey.
Welcome to Kayfabe Gimmicks. This is an NBA podcast. We're going to talk about Kyrie Irving getting traded for Isaiah Thomas.
I mean, she's still under contract, and I think part of the reason why is that, I mean, what was she out for, Ruff? What was the reason that she was out? What injury was it?
Xavier was too big for her.
I've seen the footage. No, he wasn't.
Well, now. You guys have taken a lot more interest in that than I have.
This is a men's health podcast. We're going to tell you that your penis may or may not be okay.
Was it
That belt will never be the same, that's for sure.
That's why they changed it. And I can't remember who kissed it the night before they changed it. Who was it? Was it Charlotte?
Charlotte, dude.
But you know, I think it's concussion something. They're not going to let her out till she's medically cleared. But even then, they know that she's going to go out on the independent scene. And let's face it, as much as anybody might want to say that they're not, WWE is kind of spiteful with some of their past performers.
Huge.
Well, yeah.
Hugely spiteful. They hate them.
I mean, you know, Cody's not even wrestling as Cody Rhodes.
He can't even beat Cody.
Yeah.
He can be Cody or he can be Rhodes. He can't be Cody Rhodes.
I mean, I'm sure if he asked him for his name back, they might give it to him out of respect for his dad.
I don't respect his dad either.
What?
What? Do you remember when the club ripped up the fucking Dusty Bear?
Oh, yeah.
The club literally ripped up a Dusty Bear that I think Bailey gave to Goldust.
That's the club. That's what they do.
That's still fucking horrible.
They got
You
no,
could have had them rip up any other gift that she gave any other person that they were feuding with and just been like, oh, fuck this.
Right.
That's true.
But she specifically gave Goldust a Dusty Rhodes bear, and they ripped the head off of it.
Yeah,
and you
and
tell me that, like, the WWE respects Dusty?
let's take it even further. You remember what they had? Speaking of Paige, remember what they had Paige do to Charlotte?
What did they have Paige do to Charlotte?
Talk about her brother who committed suicide.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I forgot about that. Oh, fuck, man. We got problems.
They have nobody to answer to, though, so we're going to do whatever the hell we feel like it because we're WWE.
Damn straight, and this was Kayfabe Gimmicks. Steven, tell the nice people where they can find you.
You can find me on the page blocking Sasha Banks every day.
I'm gonna have to overturn that soon.
Oh, it's already overturned. I overturned it the night at 8 p.m. I just got so on our page, guys. When we do our pay-per-view events, we don't want you posting spoilers because sometimes people can't watch pay-per-view live. So we tend to keep spoilers off till the following night when Raw starts.
That's
because
why
by then,
we
if you haven't watched it,
That's why we have an event for every single pay-per-view,
Yeah.
and we have live
But
discussion if you want to join us.
but
I
every
still
single
am
time,
a firm believer of like, fuck you if you can't watch it live.
and that's fine. But we've said keep them off the page,
I
and for some
understand.
reason, when it comes to Sasha, people want to post when she wins.
Certain people.
Granted, it doesn't happen all the time. I mean, how often does she win and not get hurt? But when they started posting the results, I was just like, you know what? I'm banning Sasha.
I understand. Ruff, tell the nice people where they can find you.
YouTube, look up Ruff Lee, Rufflee. I'm on Twitter as Real Ruff Lee, where you can see me post things that would upset my wife in a heartbeat on a daily basis. You can find me on Facebook and on Reverb Nation. You can find me on Instagram and on Tumblr, all as official Ruff Lee or Ruff Lee Music at this point. Most of them have converted over to Ruff Lee Music. I have lots of music in the works, and I hope to surprise you with a lot of things within the next 5 years. Yes, I've got a 5-year plan.
I had a 5-year plan. We got
You
5
have
months
kids.
left in that 5-year plan, and it's gone to shit. But you can find me on Twitter at Real sNooVa. I never post on it unless you're looking at my Facebook shit. I really post at Kayfabe Gimmicks because I am Kayfabe Gimmicks. This is Kayfabe Gimmicks. We are Kayfabe Gimmicks. You might
You
be
are
Kayfabe
Kayfabe.
Gimmicks. You possibly aren't cool enough to be one of Kayfabe Gimmicks unless you've joined us on Facebook and or listen to our podcast. And even then, I just don't know if you're that cool of a baby. You're not one of the cool babies. You're one of the ugly babies.
You've got to get yourself on the Facebook page. Don't tell me you don't do Facebook. You're lying. You're lying.
I don't tell people my real name.
But you know what I mean? These people are like, yeah, I don't do Facebook. I'm like, well, I guess you're running around on your spouse, ain't you? If you ain't on Facebook. If you're on,
Look, I don't.
Hell, the
if you're on Facebook, which I know you are, if you're somewhere in between the ages of 25 and 40, I know that you are on Facebook. So don't lie. So come find us at Kayfabe Gimmicks.
If you don't use Facebook, I don't actually understand what's wrong with you because, like, it's not that terrible. And if you have a Facebook addiction, I don't understand what's wrong with you. It's a place to talk to your friends because you're too lazy to call them every day and you don't want to go look at them in the face. Eyeball to eyeball. Anyways, if you're watching us on YouTube, now you've seen me build a birdhouse. This was a
Better
DIY podcast. No respect, no love. Next week, we're going to show you how to build a workbench.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, someone's gonna show you how to get thrown through a bench. You're gonna get thrown through a bench like Braun Strowman throws Brock through tables.
we're gonna next week. We're gonna talk about wrestling. More specifically, we're gonna talk about why something happened.
And who was involved in it and what's going to happen next.
Exactly.
And we'll actually try to go a whole week without bringing up Dixie Carter's name.
I tried to do a whole week this week without talking about NXT, but we still ended up talking about how NXT is the devil.
No, 205's the devil.
No, 205's just boring shit. I do actually have a closing statement. I know we're running a little long tonight, but apparently you're a crackhead, Ruff. And Daniel Bryan wants you to go rewatch the Chad Gable versus Rusev fight that you thought was just a squash match. Apparently in the total of 5 minutes that it goes on. Are you eating right now?
No, I'm not.
Sounds like you're munching.
I'm repackaging stuff, so...
But apparently, Gable tells a story about how he's going for a single leg takedown on Rusev the entire match. And finally he gets it and the crowd pops. And the commentators actually get involved and realize what he's doing and they tell the story for him.
Okay, well, go ask Brian Daniel what the story was with Rusev and Orton at the pay-per-view.
Ah.
I'm going to go ask Brian Danielson, what the idea was behind getting concussions when he came back and he's just like, fuck it, I'm going to go ahead and give Dolph Ziggler 20 headbutts.
Well, you know, since you actually have physical experience, no, I'm not going to go there. Good God. I almost went someplace really, really bad. I stopped myself.
No, I want to hear this. What?
You don't. No, you don't.
Maybe next week we'll get Ruff Lee to tell this story. Anybody else got anything else to say?
Nope.
Damn. Next week, I'm going to teach you guys how to build a doghouse on Kayfabe Gimmicks.
No, you're not. No, you're not.